is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis bringing y'all another What to Expect. Today we gonna talk about the Portland Trail Blazers, a team that really took advantage of the injuries to Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler, opening up a spot for them to rise up. The inconsistencies of OKC, 1 minute they at the bottom, 1 minute they in the middle. They really stayed consistent. They had the chemistry. They built upon the team that they had the last couple years, and they took advantage of that and really had one of their best seasons as Damian Lillard being their best player and their leader. He was able to capture his first All NBA first team with the likes of Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, and Chris Paul, and other great point guards. He was the one that made that list alongside James Harden for that guard position. And at the end of the day, he was able to carry this team toward their highest seed since he's been the best player on the roster, because I feel like LaMarcus Aldridge was obviously better than him before he left. But Dame, this is becoming something that's becoming a topic, is Damian Lillard leaving Portland, because he is at the end of the day 28 years old, and by the start of next year he'll be 29. And the saddest part about this team is that with Damian Lillard being their best player, they only got to the second round at the max. And considering that they're still rebuilding and still trying to build around him and CJ, they haven't really made enough strides to pass up any other teams. And even though this was their best year under Dame as the franchise guy, they got put out in the first round in the sweep by Anthony Davis and the Pelicans, showing that we knew they had a lot to improve. We knew they really weren't contenders, but at the same time, you had to respect them because of their seeding and because how they've been able to make the playoffs the last couple years in a row in the Western Conference, with only having one All-Star on the roster. And sometimes Damian Lillard don't even get voted into the roster as an All-Star, and he's been able to help carry this team to the playoffs multiple seasons in a row, and he still don't get really that much recognition. That's why I brought up the All NBA first team. He finally got that recognition. He felt like he was underrated. He felt like people was sleeping on him, and now he got that credit. But as soon as he got that credit, he ended up getting put out in the first round to AD. So this team still got a long way to go. Let's just keep it real. This team is not a championship contender. This team will most likely be a playoff team. It's hard to count them out because they've been able to do it so consistently. They've been trying players and trying to plug in players throughout this run with CJ Dame. They added Nurkic, a guy that helped improve their defense. He became their anchor. He became a solid rebounder, and he's only 24, and he's still improving. But at the same time, they didn't overpay him, only giving him $11 to $12 million a year, which is decent considering that you're paying Miles Leonard $10 million, Maurice Harkless $10 million, and Nurkic has been more productive than both of them. And then you also got to consider that they're paying Evan Turner $17 million a year to be basically a role player, and Nurkic has a bigger impact and a bigger role, and he's getting paid less than all these players, and he's the guy that really changed this team and helped them continue to make the playoffs with his addition. Another thing is they still plugging in, like I said, players like Evan Turner, Caleb Swanigan. Al-Farouq Aminu is a guy that they pay some money to so he can develop into that wing position, that guy that can play the 3 or the 4, be a versatile defender. His defense hasn't been what we thought it would be. His three-point shooting has improved, but he's still not the sniper. People still leave him open. People still give him that shot even in the playoffs, and he does knock it down better than he used to, but at the same time, he's really not somebody you're scared of to take the three, especially on multiple attempts. They plugged in Zach Collins. They're trying to plug in Wade Baldwin. And obviously Maurice Harkless had a down year, but at the same time, he was part of that core that they wanted to pay him $10 million a year to develop into something bigger than just a starter. And he hasn't really been able to live up to that hype. CJ McCollum became the most improved player of the year. One thing I give him credit on, he hasn't backtracked. He has been solid since then, and he's been a borderline all-star caliber player since that year that he was starting. And he has been an incremental part of them making the playoffs. His ability to come off screens, his ability to handle the ball and make plays for others, but also score the basketball, his ability to play off the ball as a three-point shooter, and making the defense continue to stay focused and keen on him because he is a deadly scorer. He's been able to average 20 points per game since he first became a starter with Dame, and he hasn't slowed down, but he hasn't also made significant improvements to his game, and he never really became an efficient scorer, but he hasn't really took that one of the best shooting guard spots yet. He's one of those guys that you respect, and he's one of the best players in the league, but he hasn't really became one of those elite top 10, top 15, top 20 even players in the league, and that's something that, coming off that season, you would think he'll build upon it and become even better. I'm not saying that he got worse, but he never became an elite scorer. He never became one of the 25, 30 points per game scorers that he probably had potential to be, but he also haven't slid since, and he's been able to be Mr. Consistent, whether Damian Lillard in or out the lineup. He has been able to help them offensively and carry the load, and he also has gave Damian Lillard some help that's also aided them into making the playoffs. You obviously look at this roster and you know that they're going to be capped out, and you know that their potential is just probably first or second round playoffs, and that's sad because once Damian Lillard, if they don't make it far in the playoffs this year, which I doubt they do unless they make a trade or makes a trade by the trade deadline to really get that other guy, they're going to be stuck in this position. And that's why a lot of people are saying Damian Lillard is going to eventually get traded because he's almost 30. Let's just be real about it. This is a season where going into this season, they're not expected to do that much because of San Antonio, because of Houston, because of Golden State, because of OKC. Those are the teams taking all the headlines. Those are the teams that people are predicting to be better than this Portland Trailblazer, and that's 4+ teams. And that means Dame and them going to be fighting for that 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th seed. And you don't really want to do that when you're all NBA first team player. And you really don't want to do that when you're a guy that's been fighting for respect and trying to make it to the All-Star game consistently by being voted in by the coaches or at least the fans. And now you're predicted to not even be a top 4 team in the Western Conference, which means even if you was top 3, I don't really think it's more than 3 contenders in the West. And they're not one of those players. They're not one of those teams that's not in that competition for a contender in the West. So the crazy thing about it is this team, at the end of the day, is what it is. And I wonder if Damian Lillard is going to stay because, yes, you love CJ, y'all brothers. Y'all been able to have each other back and continue to improve this team and ride off a good year, but y'all get put out in the first round, and then y'all coming into this year more developed and more chemistry, but it's still teams that has chemistry and is already better than these guys, and they're not even close to beating the Golden State Warriors, but they're not even close to beating the Rockets, the Thunder, or even a team like San Antonio in the 7-game series, which means Dame is going to be stuck in this predicament where I love being a franchise guy. I love getting my numbers, but at the same time, they're empty because we're not really doing anything in the playoffs. And he actually didn't even have a good playoffs anyway because they just focused on him and CJ and took them out of the game. And basically, that was a series. And if you never get that third guy, he's going to be 29 coming into next season. And if they don't make any incremental improvements this year or next year, he's going to be a 30-year-old fighting just to get out of the first round for the next 2 years at age 30. And even though he is getting paid a lot of money, he is getting the All-Star games and the All-NBA teams, he's not winning anything. And you don't want to be one of those guys that's chasing a championship at the end of your career because it's not guaranteed that you can just jump on the roster and y'all automatically contenders and you win. We done seen players have to even go longer in their career just to stay on one of those rosters to have a chance to win a championship because they couldn't do it in their prime. And You want to make as much money as you can. You want as many accolades as you can. And sometimes that means you have to be on a worse team because you want to put up these numbers and get those accolades so you can get to the Hall of Fame. But also, it stops you from winning the championship and then you're chasing it. And the ending of your career when you want to be competing for it while you're in your prime. And that's something that the Trailblazer isn't doing right now. So let me know what you guys think. I definitely think this Portland team going to win at least 45 games or at least 48. That should be enough to give them the fifth or sixth seed in the West. If not, it should give them close enough to where they're in that upper six. And even if that's 45, even if it's 47, I think they'll win enough games to be sixth, seventh, or eighth. I do think they will get put out in the first round again if unless they make a trade to get somebody to help them out. If not, injury can really decimate this team. An injury to Dame, an injury to CJ. I can see that hitting this team real hard because they don't have really no replacement. But only way this team is really going to perform to get out of the first round if you see a lot of improvement from Maurice Harkless, a lot of improvement from Aminu, and a lot of improvement from Nurkic this offseason since the guy eliminated in the first round. They had more time to work on their game, add more game, get some workouts out. Other than that, if they come back as the same team as last year with minor improvements, they're a first round exit. If they come back with incremental improvements, well, not incremental, but a lot of improvements and more versatile and have better shooting and floor spacing, this is going to be one of the tougher teams to guard defensively. But if they continue to do what they've been doing, which is incremental small improvements, I don't really see this team really being a contender. I don't really see this team even getting out of the first round. And even if they do sneak in and get a fourth seed, I don't think they beat the fifth seed either because this team is only going to go so far with the talent that they have. Dame can only do so much when the playoffs. Everybody game plan for you. It's all about matchups. They don't have all the positions filled out. They got holes on the roster, holes on the bench. And at the end of the day, they don't have enough talent to really compete with those OKC's, Golden State, Houston, San Antonio type teams. And that's the sad part is that this team with Damian Lillard getting paid so much money and him fighting for respect is really you still got to count in the Lakers too. Just think about that. You still got to count in the Denver Nuggets. You still got to count in the Timberwolves. You still got to count in the Utah Jazz. Teams like the Suns and the Grizzlies have improved. You still got the Pelicans with smarter players and more hungrier guys. You still got the Mavericks adding Doncic and DeAndre Jordan and helping out that bench. And then you still got teams like the Clippers that's going to be around the same, a little bit under them, fighting for 30 to 35 wins. And that means it's not going to be easy to beat all these teams. Plus, you got the top teams in the East. So this team is going to have to get off to a good start to really solidify themselves as a playoff team. Because if this team get on long winning streaks, maybe they get to an even lower seed, which increases their chance of getting knocked out in the first round. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this team will be a 50-win team finally? Do you think this team will be a 6, 7, or 8 seed? Do you think this team will be a 4, 4, or 5th seed? Do you think this team won't even make the playoffs because the NBA talent-wise has passed them up and they just don't have enough? Or do you think this will be another MVP Dame year? Or do you think that he will just want to get out of here if they get off to a bad start and try to get traded? We don't really know what's going to happen because the season hasn't started, but it is interesting. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Also, check out my spread shirt. There you can buy hoodies, t-shirts, water bottles, mouse pads, pillowcases, and even sweaters. Whatever you want, I got it available. Thanks for the support, liking the video. Thanks for the support, subscribing. Thanks for watching my old videos consistently. And thanks for checking out my social medias and my spread shirt. Thanks for the support. I couldn't ask for anything else. And Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Portland Trail Blazers.